The room was electric. Every eye was fixed on the ring, yet all attention was on one man, Bruce Lee. Calm, focused, seemingly unshakable, he stood there like a statue, his gaze locked on his opponent. Across from him, the rival was brimming with confidence. He smirked, bouncing lightly on his feet, letting everyone know he believed he had the upper hand. It wasn't just a fight, it was a clash of minds. The crowd could feel it. The tension was almost tangible, like the air itself was holding its breath. Bruce didn't move a muscle. His body was relaxed, but every nerve was alive, every instinct ready. It was the kind of calm that doesn't just come from skill, it comes from absolute control over your mind and your body. The rival, arrogant and impatient, took a step closer. "Come on, Bruce, show me what you've got," he taunted, cracking his knuckles. The crowd murmured. Some thought Bruce would attack first. But Bruce? He didn't flinch. He didn't react. Not yet. You could see it in his eyes. A storm was coming, but it wasn't one anyone expected. Every heartbeat in the room seemed louder, every second stretching longer than the last. Bruce's calm was unnerving. It was the kind of calm that tricks your mind into thinking you're safe, while in reality, the calm is a weapon in itself. Then came the moment that would make everyone in the room freeze. Bruce shifted his weight slightly, just enough to hint that he was ready. But he still didn't strike. The rival, seeing no immediate response, assumed hesitation. He assumed weakness. That arrogance would cost him dearly. The audience didn't know it yet, but they were about to witness a masterclass in patience, strategy, and mental domination. A single decision, letting the opponent strike first, would change everything in just a heartbeat. What would you do if someone attacked you first in a fight? Would you strike back immediately, or wait for the perfect moment like Bruce? Type calm or chaos in the comments below. The rival stepped closer, smirking like the world belonged to him. Every muscle in his body screamed confidence. He had trained, yes, but what he didn't realize was that Bruce Lee wasn't just another fighter. He was a mind reader in motion, a master of anticipating even the slightest thought. And in that room, every eye was on him, watching the tension build like a coiled spring ready to snap. Bruce's calm was unnerving. He didn't twitch, flinch, or react. The rival thought he had the advantage. "Come on, Bruce, you're wasting time," he taunted, cracking his knuckles loudly, a show for the audience. The crowd gasped at his audacity, but Bruce didn't respond. Every step the rival took, every feint, every jab he threw, Bruce observed silently, like a chess player calculating 10 moves ahead. The room was heavy with anticipation. You could feel it, the kind of tension that makes your stomach tighten and your pulse race. The rival's arrogance was his weapon, but also his blind spot. He underestimated Bruce's patience, his control, and the mental game he was about to play. The crowd began to whisper. Some fans raised their phones, recording every second. They could feel the drama unfolding, a moment that didn't just test strength, it tested strategy, discipline, and the power of the mind. Bruce's eyes never left his opponent. Every slight twitch, every shift in posture, every micro-movement was a signal. And he was reading them all, like a story written in the language of motion. The rival threw a series of quick jabs, thinking Bruce would react impulsively. But Bruce didn't move. He let the punches fly past him, each one a test, each one a trap. The audience gasped with every near hit. "Is he going to counter?" some whispered. "What is he waiting for?" This is where the mental game became intense. Bruce's calm wasn't just physical, it was psychological. His unwavering focus was like a magnet, pulling the rival into overconfidence, luring him into a mistake. It was a trap the rival didn't even know existed. And the crowd, mentally hooked, couldn't look away. Every second felt like a lifetime. Before Bruce even strikes, we want to know, where are you watching this from? Comment your city or country below, and tell us if you would have the patience to wait like Bruce. As the rival grew more aggressive, trying to force a reaction, Bruce's strategy became clear. He was letting the arrogance build, letting the rival believe he had the upper hand. Every sneer, every jab, every taunt only made the trap tighter. Bruce's calm was not hesitation. It was deliberate, controlled, and deadly in its precision. The room's energy was electric. Even the most experienced spectators could feel the tension stretching taut. Some held their breath. Some leaned forward in their seats. Everyone knew something monumental was about to happen, something that would test both the body and the mind in a way most could barely comprehend. And in that moment, Bruce Lee didn't just stand in the ring. He dominated it mentally. He made the audience, the rival, and even the cameras feel the invisible pressure of strategy, patience, and pure mental control. The next second would prove that sometimes the greatest strength isn't in the first punch, but in waiting for the right moment to strike. The tension in the room was suffocating. Every eye was glued to the ring. Every breath held, as if the air itself feared what was about to happen. The rival, brimming with arrogance, stepped forward with a grin that screamed overconfidence. He was certain Bruce Lee would react immediately, that the calm before him was weakness. He had no idea he was about to walk straight into a mental trap. Bruce didn't move. Not a muscle. Not an inch. His gaze remained fixed, his breathing steady, his posture relaxed yet ready. The calm on his face was unnerving. It was the calm of someone who could read your next thought before you thought it. The calm of someone who understood patience was as lethal as a fist. The rival lunged first, throwing a punch with all the confidence of a man who believed he was unstoppable. The crowd gasped. Cameras shook as bystanders recorded, their whispers filling the tense silence. He's going to hit him. Bruce is going to strike back. But Bruce did something no one expected. He didn't attack. He didn't dodge dramatically. He didn't even flinch the way an ordinary fighter would. He let the punch land. Every eye in the arena widened. Some couldn't believe what they were seeing. He just let it happen. The impact shocked everyone. Yes, it was Bruce Lee, the martial arts legend, but even he wasn't immune to the power behind a strike thrown with full force. The sound of the punch echoing across the ring seemed to freeze time. The rival's expression flickered between surprise and confusion. He had expected fear, a reaction, maybe even pain, but Bruce's serene composure was something he had never anticipated. And then came the twist that would leave everyone mentally and emotionally trapped. The punch, perfectly calculated in its execution, shattered Bruce's own hand. The crack echoed like a gunshot. Gasps erupted from the audience. Even the rival froze mid-step, unable to comprehend what had just happened. Pain shot through Bruce's hand, but his face betrayed nothing. He didn't scream. He didn't show weakness. His mind, honed through years of discipline, took over the moment. He wasn't just reacting physically. He was analyzing, calculating, predicting. Every second of agony became fuel for strategy. Every gasp from the crowd a reminder that fear could be mastered. The mental tension was insane. The rival, once so confident, now hesitated. He didn't know how to read Bruce's next move. The crowd was mentally trapped, watching a master turn a devastating self-inflicted injury into a lesson in patience, control, and pure mental dominance. Every heartbeat in that room matched the rhythm of suspense. 6 seconds, maybe less, had already changed the entire fight. And here's the part that makes this moment unforgettable. Bruce didn't exploit his rival immediately. He let the arrogance build, watched the tiny signs of overconfidence, and prepared. He allowed the opponent to believe he had won the first move, even as he quietly plotted the perfect counterstrike. Could you stay calm in a moment like this? Could you let someone hit you first and stay in control? Type calm if you could, or chaos if you would panic. The audience couldn't look away. Mentally, emotionally, they were hooked. Every second stretched longer than reality, and everyone watching felt the tension in their own chest. Bruce's hand hurt. His opponent's mind raced, and the room was about to witness the next move that would leave a legend remembered forever. Bruce Lee had done the unthinkable. He had let the first strike land, breaking his own hand, and turned the moment into a masterclass in strategy, patience, and mental domination. The fight was no longer about strength or speed. It was about the mind, and Bruce had trapped everyone's attention completely. Time seemed to freeze. The punch had landed, and the sound of the impact echoed like a thunderclap through the arena. Gasps filled the air, and the crowd froze in disbelief. Bruce Lee, the martial arts legend, the man who had seemed untouchable, had let the punch hit him, and now everyone could see the consequence. His hand was shattered. The cracks, both audible and visible, left the audience holding their breath. But here's the twist. Bruce's face didn't betray panic. He didn't scream. He didn't show pain the way anyone would expect. Instead, his eyes remained sharp, focused, and calculating. Every nerve in his body seemed alive, not with fear, but with heightened awareness. The rival, once brimming with arrogance, now stepped back, a flicker of doubt crossing his face. He had assumed Bruce's calm was weakness. He had assumed he would see fear. Instead, he saw control. The audience couldn't look away. Mentally, they were trapped in the moment. Every spectator, whether in the arena or watching the live recordings, felt a mix of shock, awe, and disbelief. How could someone endure something so devastating and remain composed? The answer was simple. Bruce Lee wasn't just a fighter. He was a master of the mind. Pain, fear, and expectation were tools he could control, bend, and even turn against his opponent. The rival's eyes widened as he realized his own miscalculation. He had attacked first with confidence and arrogance, and yet he had walked straight into Bruce's trap. Every move Bruce had made up to this point had been deliberate. Every pause, every micro-expression, every inch of distance had been calculated to manipulate the opponent's mind. The rival had overplayed his hand, and the cost was now becoming clear. Bruce shifted slightly, just enough for the rival to feel the change. The crowd leaned forward, sensing something monumental was about to unfold. Even in pain, Bruce's body remained a weapon. Every muscle, every tendon, every reflex was ready. The broken hand was not a liability, it was part of the lesson. Pain, he knew, could sharpen focus, not weaken it. And then came the moment that would leave everyone watching mentally and emotionally trapped. Bruce's eyes locked on his rival, and in that instant, time seemed to stretch. The rival could feel the shift in energy. What had seemed like an ordinary strike now felt like a misstep on a battlefield of strategy and precision. Bruce's calm, even in pain, was a statement. True strength isn't just physical, it's mental mastery. Could you stay focused and calm if you were hit first like Bruce? Type calm if you could, or chaos if you think you'd panic. The crowd erupted, not in celebration, but in awe. Mentally, they were trying to process what they had just seen. Emotionally, they were on edge, caught in the suspense of what Bruce would do next. The rival's arrogance had evaporated, replaced with hesitation, confusion, and fear. He had underestimated not just Bruce's speed, but his mind. And this was the lesson. Sometimes the greatest impact isn't the strike itself. It's how you react to it. Bruce had turned a devastating blow into a teaching moment, a demonstration of control, patience, and mental dominance. The crowd, mentally hooked, could sense the coming climax. They knew the next few seconds would define the fight, and perhaps even their understanding of what it meant to master both body and mind. Even with his hand shattered, Bruce Lee had already won the psychological battle. Every spectator, every rival, every viewer at home could feel the tension, the suspense, the awe. And just like that, the fight had become more than a physical clash. It had become a lesson in mental strategy, patience, and mastery over fear. The room was electric, every heartbeat in sync with the rhythm of suspense. Bruce Lee's hand throbbed with pain, but his eyes remained sharp, calculating, and alive with purpose. The rival, who had attacked first with arrogance and confidence, now found himself caught in a storm he could not understand. The crowd could sense it. The battle had shifted from strength to strategy, from fists to mind games. Bruce didn't strike immediately. He didn't need to. Every movement, every pause, every subtle shift of weight was a lesson in mental domination. The rival's eyes darted nervously, searching for a weakness, any hint of hesitation. But Bruce gave him none. His calm was a weapon, sharper than any punch, more intimidating than the fiercest strike. The rival lunged again, attempting to regain control, but Bruce anticipated each motion with uncanny precision. He shifted just enough to deflect, just enough to make the opponent question every step he took. Mentally, the rival was unraveling. His confidence crumbled under the weight of Bruce's focus, under the subtle pressure of a man who had turned pain into strategy. The audience was mesmerized. Every gasp, every whisper, every held breath amplified the tension. Mentally, they were trapped. They couldn't look away. Emotionally, they were on edge, caught in the suspense of watching a legend transform a disadvantage into a demonstration of pure mastery. The fight had become a mental chess match, and Bruce Lee was 10 moves ahead. Have you ever faced a situation where staying calm gave you an advantage? Share your story in the comments and tell us how you handled it. Bruce's broken hand didn't slow him down, it sharpened him. He had trained his mind and body to operate beyond pain, beyond instinct, beyond fear. He moved with the precision of a master, turning every feint, every strike, into a lesson for both his opponent and the crowd. The rival's attacks, once aggressive and confident, began to feel frantic, almost desperate. Every misstep fed Bruce's control over the fight. Every hesitation from the rival strengthened his dominance. The crowd could feel the shift. The atmosphere crackled with tension as they watched the opponent falter under a combination of physical skill and mental mastery. Bruce's calm aura, even in the face of injury, created a psychological trap the rival couldn't escape. Every movement from Bruce reminded the world that true strength was not in power alone. It was in patience, discipline, and the ability to anticipate your opponent's mind before they even moved. The rival's panic was visible now. His punches became less precise, his footwork uncertain, his mind clouded with doubt. Bruce, still composed, still calculating, controlled the pace entirely. He didn't just fight with his fists. He fought with his presence, his aura, his ability to manipulate the opponent's expectations. Each second Bruce waited was a lesson, each micro-adjustment a masterclass in strategy. And then came the moment when the rival's overconfidence became his downfall. Bruce Lee struck, not recklessly, not out of anger, but with perfect timing and precision. Every strike was a message. Patience beats arrogance, control beats chaos, and the mind is mightier than any blow. The rival staggered, unable to keep up, unable to read the genius before him. The audience erupted, not in cheer but in awe. Mentally, emotionally, they were hooked, trapped in a whirlwind of suspense and astonishment. Bruce Lee had turned pain, strategy, and focus into an unstoppable force. The lesson was clear. Strength without strategy is nothing, and patience can transform a disadvantage into victory. By the end of this phase, it was undeniable. The fight was no longer a test of physical power. It was a demonstration of mental mastery, patience, and the brilliance that made Bruce Lee a legend. Every viewer, every spectator, every student of martial arts could feel it. This was more than a fight. This was history unfolding in real time. The atmosphere in the arena had shifted completely. What had begun as a seemingly ordinary fight had transformed into a masterclass in strategy, patience, and mental dominance. Bruce Lee's hands still throbbed with pain from the first strike, but his focus was sharper than ever. Every fiber of his being radiated control, precision, and confidence. The rival, once brimming with arrogance, now trembled under the invisible weight of Bruce's presence. The rival lunged again, desperate to regain his footing. But Bruce didn't merely react. He anticipated. Every punch, every feint, every slight shift of the opponent's balance was calculated in real time. The broken hand, a potential liability for most, had become an instrument of psychological intimidation. The rival's mind was racing, clouded with doubt and fear. Every attack felt sluggish, every movement predictable. He had underestimated Bruce's ability to turn weakness into strength. The crowd was on the edge of their seats. Mentally, they were trapped in the drama unfolding before them. Emotionally, they were riding every surge of suspense and shock. Every gasp, every held breath amplified the tension. This wasn't just a fight, They were witnessing the power of a mind in complete control of both body and circumstance. Bruce Lee had already won the psychological battle. Now, it was time to finish it. With fluid motion, Bruce shifted his stance, eyes locked on his opponent. He moved with the precision of a master. Every strike, every block, every step executed with flawless timing. The rival's confidence crumbled with each calculated move. Panic flickered across his face. Confusion replaced arrogance, and hesitation took the place of certainty. The crowd could feel the shift. It was undeniable. Bruce had seized complete control of the fight. Did you see that coming? Type shocked if this surprised you, or predictable if you guessed Bruce's next move. Bruce's comeback wasn't just physical, it was mental. He didn't throw strikes out of anger. Each motion was deliberate, a lesson in strategy. His broken hand didn't slow him down. It added intensity, forcing him to focus, to adapt, to dominate with even greater precision. Every punch, every kick, every subtle feint was a demonstration of his genius. The rival tried to respond, but he was already trapped. His mind was scattered, every thought anticipated by Bruce before it could become action. The audience could hardly believe what they were seeing. Mentally, they were caught in Bruce's strategy, unable to predict the next move. Emotionally, they were riding a roller coaster of awe, suspense, and amazement. The rival's every misstep highlighted Bruce's mastery. Patience, control, and intelligence were far more powerful than sheer strength or speed. And then came the final sequence that would cement the moment in history. Bruce launched a combination so precise, so perfectly timed, that the rival staggered backward, completely disoriented. The crowd erupted, some cheering, others gasping, all mentally and emotionally trapped in the awe of witnessing a true legend in action. The rival, once full of arrogance, was now humbled completely. Bruce didn't gloat. He didn't revel in victory. Instead, he stood calm, collected, and commanding, demonstrating that true mastery isn't just about winning. It's about control, strategy, and mental dominance. Every spectator could feel it. This was a lesson in resilience, patience, and the power of the mind over matter. The rival had been defeated not only physically, but mentally and emotionally. Bruce Lee's genius lay in his ability to convert pain into strategy, to turn opponents' arrogance into their undoing, and to command respect with nothing more than focus, precision, and presence. By the end of this sequence, the lesson was clear. The greatest battles are fought not with fists alone, but with patience, awareness, and intelligence. Bruce Lee had reminded the world why he was a legend, not just in martial arts, but in the art of the mind. The arena was silent for a heartbeat, then erupted into applause and astonished cheers. Bruce Lee stood in the center, his gaze steady, his body composed despite the throbbing pain in his hand. The rival, once brimming with arrogance and confidence, now stared at him with a mixture of disbelief and respect. The fight was over, not with a single punch, but with mastery of the mind, patience, and strategy. Every spectator, every viewer watching from home could feel the lesson in that moment. Bruce had allowed the first strike to land, even at great personal cost. He had endured pain, controlled his fear, and remained perfectly calm. That choice, seemingly counterintuitive, had turned the tables completely. What had begun as a battle of strength became a masterclass in mental discipline. The rival's defeat wasn't just physical, it was mental. Every miscalculated punch, every rush born from arrogance, had been anticipated and neutralized. Bruce's calm and control had dismantled not only the rival's strategy, but also his confidence. The audience felt it, mentally trapped in admiration and awe, emotionally moved by the genius on display. Bruce didn't celebrate. He didn't taunt. Instead, he used the moment to demonstrate a lesson far greater than victory. True strength lies in patience, control, and mastery of the mind. Even in pain, even under pressure, a clear mind and unwavering focus can turn any challenge into opportunity. The crowd erupted in cheers again, but this time it was not just for the fight. It was for the brilliance, the lesson, and the presence of a legend. If you want to master your mind like Bruce Lee, type legend in the comments and share how you stay calm under pressure. The fight had left a mark not only on the rival, but on everyone who had witnessed it. Bruce had proven that power is more than brute force. It is awareness, anticipation, and the courage to remain calm when chaos surrounds you. Every motion, every pause, every strike had been a lesson. The audience had learned more than a fight. They had witnessed a philosophy in motion. Even the rival could not deny it. He had been bested not by anger, not by speed, but by intelligence and mental mastery. Bruce's calm had become a weapon, his strategy flawless. The broken hand was a reminder that even in adversity, focus and control turn weakness into power. Every gasp from the crowd, every whisper of awe, reinforced the timeless lesson. The greatest victories come from mind over matter. As the arena cleared and the cheers continued to echo, one thing was certain. Bruce Lee's legend was not just in his speed or strength. It was in his ability to teach through action, to inspire through discipline, and to dominate through control of both mind and body. The lesson resonated far beyond the ring. Strength is not only measured by punches or kicks, but by patience, foresight, and courage under pressure. Bruce Lee's fight was a demonstration of what every fighter, student, and human can learn. Mental mastery is the ultimate weapon, and control is the truest form of power. That if you believe that true strength comes from the mind, type legend in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of courage, skill, and mastery like this one.